This is Hashtag History, episode 68. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And I was thinking we switched things up a little bit this week.
Okay.
So I can hear your anxiety. I can hear your anxiety.
Yes, it's there.
So typically we go through this whole spiel at the end of the episode and no harm, no foul, but like not everyone listens all the way through the end of an episode, including myself.
Yeah.
I listen to many a podcast and I don't listen all the way through all of them. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. So I thought we would share a bit of our spiel up top instead.
Okay.
Okay. So I thought you would share a little bit of our spiel up top instead.
Got it. Okay. For those of you who want to follow us on social media, our most prominent social media site is Instagram.
Yes.
This is where we post most of our pictures for the episodes. So any pictures we mention throughout our episodes, you can find on Instagram.
And this particular episode has lots of pictures. So make sure you follow us on Instagram so you can see those.
Yeah. And that's also like where we make announcements and do fun things like trivia, virtual trivia nights and stuff. So we just had one.
We just did one last week. It was super fun.
Yeah. So find us on there. It's at #history_podcast.
And then you also can check us out on our website at #history-pod.com. That's where you'll find all the sources that we use to put together each episode. That's also where you can learn a little bit more about each of us, where you can check out our merch store. And then you can also find our new page with promo codes for some of the awesome companies that we are affiliated with.
Finally, you can find us on Patreon, where we have weekly bonus #hangout episodes where you can get to know us a little bit better and we talk about fun things.
And our patrons are super awesome on those too. We get a lot of responses and they're super fun to read through.
Yeah. And then there's an additional 15% off all of the merchandise on our t-shirts and our mugs.
Tote bags.
Yeah. And if you follow us on Patreon, you get an Instagram shout out, you get stickers and cards, and then you get all on top of all that other cool stuff.
Yeah, and it's only $1 a month.
Yeah.
So if you don't already follow us on Instagram, or if you have not yet joined our Patreon, hopefully we'll see you over there soon.
Definitely.
And then, as we always remind our listeners at the end of every episode, 5-star Apple Podcast reviews go a long way, and we appreciate them so much. So if you have 2 minutes you can take out of your day, go give us a 5-star review, and we'll love you forever. Actually, forever. Okay, so this week on #history, we are covering a badass woman in history. She's someone that I think if you are really into history, particularly women's history, her name will sound familiar. But for the most part, her name isn't up there with other names like Amelia Earhart, Rosa Parks, or RBG. And it's so important that we get her name up there because she is incredible. Lee Miller was a model and photographer most well known for being a war correspondent for Vogue during World War II, capturing over 60,000 images that many of the male photographers wouldn't dare to take of the liberated concentration camps at Buchenwald and Dachau. But most iconic of all was when, on April 30th, 1945, while Adolf Hitler was committing suicide in a bunker in Berlin, Lee Miller got into his Munich apartment, took off her muddy military boots, and posed in Hitler's bathtub for one of the best pictures I've ever seen.
I have not seen that.
We're going to look at it this week.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Despite all of these accomplishments and many more that we will be discussing in this week's episode, Miller wasn't very well known until after her death. In fact, her own son was unaware of all of her accomplishments until after she passed away, and he discovered the 60,000 plus images in her attic. I seriously cannot wait to talk about her more, so let's have a drink and then we'll get right to it. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this is #history,
the podcast for both history nerds and history haters alike,
where we dive into history's greatest stories of controversy, conspiracy, and corruption.
Today's cocktail was an easy connection to make. Very easy, because it was just straight up named after our subject.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I couldn't find out any reason why it was named after her, or like information on who made it originally. But I did find the recipe on awesomecuisine.com for anyone interested in checking it out, and maybe you can find out more than I could.
I love it.
Yeah.
I aspire to have a cocktail named after me. I aspire to that.
So this contains 2 ounces of gin. Okay.
Real talk.
Because I had to buy a whole new bottle of gin for this drink, I may or may not have had gin drinks every night this week.
Yeah.
Just trying to warm my taste buds up. And I think it's growing on me.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you're a longtime listener of the podcast, we have been trying to become gin drinkers for 7 seasons.
Yes.
And you text me earlier this week to say you might be converting.
Yeah, like
officially.
Here's the thing. Gin with like triple sec or like blue curacao, not that bad. Okay.
Okay. I'll take your word.
Just putting it out there. So it contains 2 ounces of gin, so just over a shot. Angostura bitters.
Yum.
Yes. 5 ounces of chilled champagne.
Super excited about that.
I know. I didn't measure it though.
No, you just pour it away.
Yes. And then you're supposed to do a lemon twist, which I also didn't do. I did put a teeny little hint of lemon juice in it.
Perfect.
Okay. So you're supposed to pour the gin and the bitters into an ice-filled glass, slowly add champagne, and then run the lemon peel around the rim and then twist it over the drink, then drop it in. So again, didn't have a lemon, so...
it looks like a super, super refreshing drink. It's almost clear.
My mouth has been watering while we've been sitting here.
Me too.
I'm ready for
Me
this.
too.
Okay.
Cheers.
It's not like the best, but it's not bad. I think the champagne tempers it.
I can tell that it's gin in there, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Perhaps we were drinking a really bad gin for the last year plus.
Totally possible. Although I will say this was bottom shelf, like $6 bottle of gin.
And I would imagine the one that I bought that we went through for the first 6 seasons was also bottom shelf.
6 seasons.
But yeah, we went through 1 bottle of gin in an entire almost 2 years. But I'm wondering if it was that particular brand.
Maybe
because this is
it's not
yummy.
My favorite.
No, but it's subtle. And I never got that sense from the other gin that we were drinking.
I'll have to see what brand I got. It's definitely cheap. I know that. Rating? I'm like 7?
I was going to say 7 too. Okay. When you started it with I'm like, she could go
either way.
She could go either way with this one.
6 or 7.
7.
Yeah.
7. I was thinking the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's super refreshing.
It is, actually.
And for a gin drink, I like it.
Yep. Look at us growing.
Growth. Hashtag growth. I like that.
I do too.
Okay. Oh my God. Hashtag growing.
Oh my God.
Hashtag adulting. So Elizabeth Lee Miller was born on April 23rd, 1907 in Poughkeepsie, New York. We're going to skip ahead like 25 years just so we can check out a picture of her really quickly so you have a visual throughout this episode.
She's gorgeous.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah. Even by like today's standards, because like standards change, beauty changes. She is absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, model. Mm-hmm. She looks very fair, probably blonde. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a black and white photo, so it's hard to tell. With like kind of darker brows, really pretty. She does look blondish in this one. Other pictures I've seen of her, she's a brunette, so I don't know. Maybe it's just the light.
It could be the lighting, or I feel like I've seen other pictures of her that were in color where she had lighter hair. Yeah. She's just stunning. This was like not a picture where I had to like search around for Lee Miller model or Lee Miller beautiful or what. Like, no, you type in Lee Miller and this is literally the first picture that pops up.
Right, I'm drinking more of this so that my self-esteem doesn't go down.
Yeah.
She really is pretty.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Miller had a bit of a complicated, if not traumatic, childhood. And this is a warning ahead of time that we will be discussing sexual assault because at the age of only 7 years old, Miller was raped by a family friend when visiting relatives. Not only did this incident leave her completely violated, traumatized, and obviously viciously assaulted, it also left her with gonorrhea at 7 years old.
Ew.
Yeah. I did some research into how gonorrhea was treated in the early 1900s, which, tiny side note, but I went to a local brewery when I was working on my research for this episode.
I'm always so jealous of your, like, cool brewery.
We have so many great breweries, like, right by my house. So I was there doing this research, and literally right as I was researching the medical history of gonorrhea treatment is when the guy that works there came over to like refill my beer. And I was like, oh my God, exit tab immediately. Yeah. It was a moment.
Yeah.
It was a moment.
You shared a moment with that guy. He will never forget it. If he saw it.
Yeah. Hopefully he didn't just see like gonorrhea. At least maybe I was searching for the medical history of the treatment of gonorrhea.
Okay, so that makes you look smart.
Does it though?
Or weird.
Or weird. It's all bad, whichever way you look at it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, it wouldn't be until the 1940s when penicillin would be used to treat gonorrhea. So although I can't confirm exactly what treatment Miller received, we do know that the treatment for gonorrhea prior to antibiotics was metals. So things like gold, mercury, arsenic, and so on.
Ugh, so not really great for a 7-year-old to be...
Not great for anyone, but especially a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Following this event, her father began taking pictures of her, pictures that were of a sexual nature. Ooh. I know. He photographed her nude and posed her in inappropriate positions, starting at elementary age and on into her 20s. I know. We don't know how she felt about these pictures and any trauma that she might have experienced as a result. What we do know, though, was that this was the beginning of the presence of both photography and modeling in her life.
So not a great introduction.
Yeah, sorry about that. The first 2 paragraphs sucked.
Yeah, not a fan.
They go up a little. That was the valley.
And it was just uphill from here.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't be so bold as to say that.
Maybe,
but that was about the worst.
Plateaus.
Yeah, there are plateaus a lot. Okay, let's continue. Miller struggled in school, getting expelled from nearly every school she attended growing up. She struggled to figure out what she wanted to do with her life, and for a brief period of time, she was really into theater and dance. She studied at, I'm going to have you hopefully pronounce this theater for us.
Can I hear you try?
I don't even know where to begin.
L'école means the school.
Oh.
Medguys, I'm guessing it's the school of Medguys, so that's probably a name. Mm-hmm. Pour la technique de théâtre. So for the theater technique.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I always feel like a little bit of a poser when I try to explain or speak French.
No, it's great.
Okay.
It's great.
So yeah, it's like the School of Technical Theater, the Medguys School of Technical Theater.
That's awesome. So she did that in Paris before she joined the Vassar College's experimental theater in New York. When she was 19, she officially moved out of her parents' place and started studying art in Manhattan. Okay. So get ready for this because this is literally a Hallmark movie come true.
So excited.
Yeah, here's that peak in the story.
The first plateau.
No, the first
mountain.
The first rise.
Hill. It's a hill.
So this sounds like a Hallmark movie. At least this is how the story's told. She's in Manhattan. She's crossing the street. And literally, just as she's about to be hit by an oncoming car, she's saved by Condé Nast. Do you know who that is?
That name, yes, I've heard the name. It's like an artist or something.
So I don't know that I pronounced that correctly.
I think you did.
Okay, good. He was the publisher of Vogue and later Vanity Fair and The New Yorker.
That's right. Okay.
And he was literally blown away by what we were blown away by.
Yeah.
Her gorgeousness. Mm-hmm. He, after this incident, like he saves her from traffic, sees how stunning she is, and had her model for the cover of Vogue shortly thereafter.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing, right? That's a movie.
That's a movie.
She was the muse for Georges Lepup for the drawing that he did for the Vogue cover for the March 1927 edition. We can check out that picture here.
Yes. I love pictures.
So it's a drawing.
Yeah.
She was the muse.
Is that an exclamation point on her hat or is that like a...
I think that's part of her hat design.
Sorry. It's a very like stylized, it makes me think like I know it wasn't, but it makes me think like 1920s. When was it?
It was late 1920s.
Okay, so yeah, it very much like
Flapper.
Art Deco, flappery, yeah, for sure.
And that's why one of the reasons why she was chosen was because she's so very well fit.
Like epitomized that.
Totally. The like, modern woman with the short hair and tighter fitting dresses.
Very cool.
She was a super sought after model for the next few years until her picture was used for a particular ad without her consent.
Oh no.
Right. Now, when I say it like that, an ad that had her face on it that effectively ended her modeling career, it's like, oh my God, like what's this ad for, right?
Like, is it, I'm going to guess, it's a product. It's going to be like a sex product or something.
Well, so I'll give you, there's this thing that most women get, generally comes like once a month, a menstrual cycle.
That is career ending worthy for sure.
Yeah. Lee Miller's picture was used for a Kotex ad. We're just staring at each other. As I believe most people know, Kotex is the American brand of menstrual hygiene products like pads and tampons. This 1928 ad was the first ever ad for menstrual hygiene products that featured a human being. And it was super, super controversial because, I mean, oh my God, we can't visually associate women with their menstrual cycles. Yeah.
I have no comments.
I know.
Because
I know.
it's stupid.
I know. Legally, Miller did pose for this picture and she had signed the model release. But similar to many Americans, Miller was horrified when she saw her face on the ad and she was pretty much kicked out of the modeling world. Yeah. We can check out the ad here if you'd like.
Yes. I'm going to guess that it is. Oh, here we go. Before I open it, I'm going to guess that it's like nothing even close to like risque that we would associate with like being inappropriate in any way, shape, or form. It's going to be like her smiling.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Okay, opening.
Right.
Advertisement was not up to the standards of today. Let me just say, because it's literally like a picture of her standing and then all of this text. So like graphic design has really been stepped up since the 1920s.
Like that picture could be used for anything, right? And that is why she posed for the picture. She signed the model release that says like, yeah, you can use this on whatever.
But who would why it's like her standing in a beautiful dress. Just nothing to do with
your period.
Your period in any way, yeah.
Whereas now, like, I feel like we still aren't doing anything risque in, like, menstrual hygiene, advertisements. But we certainly are doing more than this. We're like, I don't know. I'm trying to even think of an example.
Doing like sports, like they're jogging in their sports bra and shorts. And then they're like, look at your tampon will stay in or it won't leak when you're in.
At least we're doing, like, a touch more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's standing in a pretty dress.
And that could have been used for any and everything. Now, although this was really upsetting for Miller at the time, it kind of ended up being one of those everything happens for a reason things, because in the aftermath of this removal from the modeling industry, Miller chose to pick up and travel to Paris. Having been on one side of the camera for so long, Miller decided she wanted to try her hand at being on the other side. Upon arriving in Paris, she sought out Man Ray, an infamous surrealist photographer and painter. In her words, she said, "I thought the best way was to start out studying with one of the great masters in the field." Initially, Ray told her, like, no, leave me alone, because he didn't generally take on apprentices. But Miller was persistent and would end up staying with him for 3 years, not only as his student, but also his lover and collaborators on many of his more infamous pieces of work. One of the major things that they developed together was the photography technique of solarization, which is when you reverse the negative and positive components in a picture. We have a lot of pictures in this episode. So remember, like we shared up at the top, make sure all of our listeners that you're following us on Instagram, because all those pictures get dropped on our Instagram the same day the episode drops.
Yeah.
But even though we have a ton of pictures in this episode already, I had to upload this one because I wanted you, Leah, to describe for our listeners what exactly solarization looks like. So this here is a picture of Miller that Ray took using the solarization technique.
So really cool. So you said it's not polarization, so it doesn't completely swap the colors.
No, it's reversing them. So like what would have been negative is now positive.
Yeah, it just makes it look really, it really stands out. It jumps out at you. It makes it look very like contrasting.
Yeah, almost like a halo effect or like a glowy
but the opposite
effect. But the opposite
because
of
it's like instead of when you take a picture with the sun behind you, there's like a glowy thing behind you. In this, there's almost like a black orb behind her.
And there's like a sharp, dark line all the way around here, almost 3D-esque.
Yeah, really, really stunning.
So cool. While in Paris, Miller was able to meet many other famous artists such as Jean Cocteau and Pablo Picasso. In fact, Picasso would go on to paint Miller 6 times.
Wowza.
After 3 years, Miller said, "Peace out" to Ray and moved back to New York. From the majority of what I read, it seemed like there were just some major jealousy issues on Ray's part and that he was obsessed with controlling Miller. No, thank you. Okay, if you are an avid podcast listener like me, I am confident that you have heard some of your favorite podcasters doing an ad for Madison Reed hair coloring. I am here to tell you that I actually use Madison Reed. I have been using Madison Reed for over a year now, and I am completely obsessed with it. To avoid the time and cost of going to a hair salon, I have long been a box dye girl. I know, all of our hairdresser listeners are screaming right now, and you're totally right. After years of use, box dye completely stripped my hair of life. It was super dry and brittle and thin. And then I found Madison Reed. Madison Reed is free of ammonia, parabens, and so much more. It includes nutrients like keratin and ginseng root extract. So when I finish coloring my hair, not only is the color fantastic, but my hair actually feels good too. And it's super easy to use. You just go online to madison-reed.com, take an online quiz, and get matched to your perfect shade. The kit they send you comes with everything you will need, so you won't have to make any additional trips to the store. It includes gloves, bottles, barrier cream, cleansing wipes, a protective cap, and even color-protecting shampoo and conditioner to wash out your hair with afterward. With over 55 multi-dimensional shades to choose from and kits that start at only $22, Madison Reed comes highly recommended by me personally. Head to our website now at #history-pod.com, click on the promo code tab at the top of the screen, and use our link to get free shipping on your first order of Madison Reed. After moving back to New York, she opened up a photography studio with her brother Eric. She was obviously super involved in the photography piece of things, but she also started modeling again. About 5 years after that scandalous Kotex ad, Miller was back with Vogue magazine, working with them as both a model and a photographer. In fact, for a feature on headbands, Miller was both the model and the artist behind this spread.
That's so cool.
So cool.
Not cool that she was ousted before, but...
I know. And then it's just like, literally like 5-ish years later, she's like welcomed back with open arms. In 1934, Miller married an Egyptian businessman named, I'm going to butcher this, everyone, named Aziz Alaoui Bey, and moved to Cairo. Although she didn't work professionally as a photographer while living here, she did continue to photograph and created some of her most infamous works of surrealism during this time.
Her life is a movie.
Her life is a movie.
She's like puddle jumping from New York to Paris to Egypt.
And she's still a baby at this point.
Like 25 or something.
That's what I was just trying to figure out. She was born in 1907. I can't do quick math. We're in 1934 now. I can't do quick math, but she's in her 20s.
Yeah, 20s for sure.
and she's that was good. That was good.
Oh my God.
That was good.
Yeah.
I mean, she obviously had like a super, super tragic, horrible childhood that you would never, ever wish on anyone. But following that, she's traveled the world. She's had all these incredible, amazing experiences.
Yeah. And somehow her son didn't know about it. That's weird.
We will get into that.
Okay.
Like why.
Okay.
So while she's in Cairo, she's doing some photography still, and that's where some of her most infamous works were created. But she ended up growing super bored here, which initially when I was researching this, I was like, how can you be bored in Cairo? But then I remembered Miller was a badass, independent, hardworking woman, and she just wasn't satisfied with just being a wife and taking pictures on the side.
Yeah, and I'm sure like even more so the stringent lifestyles of a wife in Egypt was probably not her style, which since she, like you said, she epitomized the modern kind of flapper, independent woman. Yeah.
And speaking to that, Cairo provided for her this like sense of escape, but that only lasts for like a period of time, right? She missed the hustle and bustle. And me personally, I love that.
Yeah.
She began traveling to Paris on her own, and while here in 1937, she met a famous British surrealist artist named, all those words like almost rhymed or ended the same way, famous British surrealist artist.
Yes.
Artist. Yeah. Lots of ishists. He was named Roland Penrose. They ended up falling in love, and she ended up moving to London with him. From what I've read, the two of them had this tight-knit group of artist friends, which included people like Picasso, and this group would often exchange partners, have threesomes, and so on without jealousy, and all in the name of fun and excitement. Miller had so many incredible accomplishments at this time that it's not possible to touch on them all, but just know that at this time, her artwork is being displayed in exhibits all the way in New York and London, and I mean, everywhere.
Yeah.
She's getting known. It was while Miller was in London with Penrose that World War II would break out. Miller actually photographed the Blitz, which was when the Germans bombed the United Kingdom in 1940 and 1941.
I was going to say London, not a good place to be when World War II breaks out.
Not the place to be. And she had family still in the States that were like begging her to return to the United States where she would be safe. But she was determined to be a part of the war effort. As Penrose would later say about her, quote, "It would have been incredibly easy for her to disappear to America and sit the war out, but she didn't. I think she wanted to stay and try and do something. And nobody was going to give her a gun or an airplane or something useful like that. So she used her camera."
So cool.
I know. And use her camera, she did. She ended up becoming an accredited war correspondent for Vogue. And the pictures she took from World War II are honestly unbelievable. Miller would become the first female photojournalist to photograph from the front lines. She would be here in France for the Battle of Saint-Malo to document the first use of napalm bombing. She would be there to photograph the liberation of Paris. She would even be there to document the horrors at the Buchenwald and Dachau Nazi concentration camps. For many, Miller's photographs would be the first they ever saw of the horrors committed by the Nazis within these camps. One of the most iconic and most moving pictures Miller took during World War II was titled SS Guard in Canal, and I have it here for us to view.
Okay, I feel like I've probably seen this, but let me... Oh, no, I haven't. It's a dead person, a dead SS guard, I'm guessing, floating in water. Obviously a canal. But yeah, no, it's grim. It's dark. It's a beautiful photograph, despite the content, and it's war.
And I think that exactly sums it up, that it's war, and there are people that prior to seeing Miller's photography didn't recognize, like, this is war.
I'm so impressed.
She's amazing. Like, she was on the front lines, getting her boots dirty alongside soldiers, snapping pictures like this, getting them published, and opening up the world's eyes to the atrocities that were going on during World War II.
Yeah, and this is me, like, being a nerd, but, like, also the technical side of it. Like, she's clearly a good photographer because, like, you can see that despite all of that stuff, her being in the trench, literally in the trenches and stuff, she still took an amazingly composed photograph. Like, this is someone who has taken some photography courses and stuff. Like, that is a amazing photograph.
I like that you recognize those things, because those aren't necessarily the things that I notice at all.
Like, I'm literally like, just not the subject, but the whole composition of the photo is beautiful.
And that's something that's amazing about her too, is she's like this lifelong learner, because she was on one side of the camera as a model, and she was absorbing the techniques that photographers were using when they were taking pictures of her. She was absorbing those techniques from the other side of the lens, and then she chooses to go study under one of the most infamous photographers at the time because she just wanted to learn. I love that about her. Is she your new favorite person in history?
A little bit.
She might be.
Like, actually, she's definitely my girl crush.
I was just going to say, girl crush is happening.
Yeah.
Girl crush is happening.
It is.
And then, of course, the infamous, the most iconic picture from Miller during war times, it's the one that I teased at the top, is the one of her in Hitler's bathtub. An American photographer that Miller often partnered with went along with her when she traveled to Munich, and together they got into Adolf Hitler's apartment. While here, she undressed and got into Hitler's bathtub. She intentionally placed her boots that still had dirt on them from the Dachau concentration camp in front of the bathtub, and her friend captured a picture of her here. So we, of course, have to look at this picture.
I already know it's going to be so flippin' amazing. Yep. I see what you're talking about. She has very dark hair here.
Mm-hmm.
There's a picture of Hitler. Does Hitler have a picture of himself in his bathtub?
There's a picture of Hitler, like a framed picture of him near the bathtub. I have heard
that they did that.
That they purposefully put it there so that, like, that Miller and her photography friend did so that, it would be obvious that she was in Hitler's bathtub. But he obviously, if this was not originally there in the bathtub, he still had a framed picture of himself somewhere in his house.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a picture of her, and just like you described, in the bathtub with muddy boots in front of it.
And she purposefully put them there because she wanted to show the contrast of, like, this stunning, beautiful woman in this dictator's bathtub. Look at what you have caused. Look at my boots that still have the dirt on them from the concentration camps that you conspired.
This is just like you were talking about. We were talking about with Turing and
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
And Lin-Manuel
We talked about that last week. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like that, the thought to say, I'm going to get naked, get in the bathtub, put my boots in front of it, and there's an amazing picture.
Yes.
Like, I would know who has that thought process.
Not me.
No. Artists.
Amazing. Artistes. Amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I actually have goosebumps on my legs looking at the picture.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt, too, that she was
hot.
She's a model.
Yeah.
So it's like, this picture would be incredible, whoever did this, but it, like, doesn't hurt that she's this stunning woman.
Yeah.
Who she's like a stunning, beautiful woman that has literally gone through the trenches of war on the front lines alongside soldiers to capture.
She's Wonder Woman.
She's Wonder Woman.
Hot, beautiful,
and
will kick your ass.
Following this picture, Miller took a bath in the tub, and she even slept in Hitler's bed.
That seems a little like,
it's a little cringe. But also badass?
Yeah, but also badass.
She did this on April 30th, 1945, not knowing that this was the same day that Hitler would commit suicide in a bunker in Berlin. Following the war, Miller would return to Britain and would suffer from what was not clinically recognized at the time as post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. She became a heavy drinker and got into making super weird food, like green eggs and ham type food.
I mean, some people like green eggs and ham. I don't. I've never had it.
It's a little weird.
Okay.
It's a little weird.
Okay.
She studied at Cordon Bleu in Paris. I know, she's a forever learner.
What the heck?
She can't stop.
Yeah.
She cannot stop. She would, after studying there, she would host these big dinner parties where she would make her guests green chicken.
Okay, no, that's weird.
Or blue fish. Or really insanely decorated cakes just to keep her mind off of all that she had seen during the war.
I mean, at least she's trying to find a coping mechanism.
And again, lifelong learner. I love that so much. She never quits. She never stops.
Yeah.
When she was 40 years old, she became pregnant with her one and only child, her son, Anthony Penrose.
40 years old? That's like, back then, that
would have been
so unheard of.
This is in 1947.
Oh my gosh.
What's also interesting about the story is when she learned that she was pregnant, she officially divorced her Egyptian husband because, not divorced. And she married Penrose, whom she had been with for like 10 years at this point.
Oh my gosh.
She's a modern, everyday woman.
I love it.
In the 40s.
Oh my gosh.
In 1949, the family bought the Farley farmhouse in East Sussex.
That was
difficult
hard.
together.
Yeah.
And while Miller continued to host guests like Picasso at the house and also continued to take pictures here and there, it appears as though she really tried to remove herself from her former life. She began what her son referred to as a downward spiral, which I think was caused by a number of factors. Her depression, her alcoholism, the constant haunting of the things that she had seen during the war, and also learning that her longtime partner, Penrose, was engaged in an extramarital affair. Yeah. Many of her friends and family tried to get her to market and promote her artwork that she had done in the past, but she refused. As many of them said, she just wanted to forget it all and move on. On July 21st, 1977, Miller died at the age of 70 from cancer. And here's the part where I started to tear up as I was putting together the research because it's just so moving.
Don't look at me.
Okay, I won't.
Because
I know.
If we make eye contact, I'll start crying.
If we make eye contact, the rest of the episode will just be crying.
Okay.
Miller's son spoke of his mom as he was growing up as being very difficult and very absent. She was oftentimes incredibly depressed and drunk and withdrawn. So it was not until she passed away and her son and his wife were cleaning out the attic at Farley Farmhouse that he saw her photography for the first time. He would find over 60,000 materials that she had captured. In his own words, he said, "I could not believe she had been the same person that created this material." He grew up with a very different woman.
Yeah.
For the most part, the reason why we know what we know today about Lee Miller is because of her son. After finding all of these images and documents and journals and letters, he converted Farley Farm into a museum that displays her work. I know, goosebumps everywhere.
Okay, are we going to Sussex now?
Yeah, add that to the list. And he got her artwork put back in exhibits.
Yeah.
He published the first biography about Miller titled The Lives of Lee Miller in 1985. Miller continues to be in the mainstream consciousness. In 2019, a historical fiction novel titled The Age of Light was published and is based on her life. Mm-hmm. Miller was an incredible woman, and I feel so incredibly inspired by her. I feel like you do too. I feel like you
more
have
so than I expected to be.
I think it's the parallels of like you also, I feel like, are a lifelong learner. I do think that, though. Don't you always want to grow and learn and know and do? Am I wrong?
Yes.
I guess I am also thinking in particular, like photography.
Yeah,
taking those courses.
The artistic side for sure. And yeah, I there is some like weird connection I feel to her. I don't know what it is. I wouldn't say I'm a lifelong learner because I ain't going back to school for nothing.
No, learning is watching YouTube videos.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I consider myself. Lifelong learner doesn't necessarily mean I'm going back for my PhD.
Yeah.
It means I'm researching for these episodes. It means I'm listening to other podcasts to learn more.
Yeah.
I see that in you too.
Oh, thank you.
I could feel the connection like halfway through this episode. I saw your eyes starting to light up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think she's your woman history
she
crush.
Might be my woman history crush.
Yeah.
I've
I
been
like
trying
that.
to find her.
Oh, you've been looking for her.
I have.
Love it. I always feel so inspired after we cover an amazing woman in history. I felt the same way when we covered Sophie Scholl or when we covered Anita Hill, who is my woman history crush.
For sure.
I seriously love researching and talking about women in history. We don't get to cover them quite as much on this podcast since we're not an exclusively women's history podcast.
Yeah.
But I really love when we do get the chance to.
And I love that you always do at least one every season.
I try to because it still fits in with our theme. There's still controversy, conspiracy, and corruption in these incredible women's lives.
Yeah.
And then these are the episodes I always walk away from feeling like so inspired by.
For sure.
Something I really love about Lee Miller is that she was an absolutely stunning woman who used her looks and her opportunities in the modeling industry to create connections and go on to become the first female photojournalist on the World War II front lines. It's amazing, just like where she started and not being content with that. She used that to create connections and to grow and to learn and to do.
Yeah.
She would be one of the first people to expose the horrors of the Nazi concentration camps. She was, like I keep saying, a lifelong learner between the modeling industry and photography, and even later in her life getting into cooking. But she suffered for her work. It's devastating to hear how much the war affected her and the type of mother she was as a result of that.
Yeah.
Regardless, I continue to find her an absolute inspiration. In a comment she made to the New York World Telegram in 1932, when they asked her about her modeling career, she told them, "I'd rather take a picture than be one." Goosebumps. And I think she did just that. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of #History.
We will share the pictures that we discussed on the episode to our Instagram, and there was a lot of them. So just prepare yourself for like 7 photos.
We were talking about a photographer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pictures.
Yeah. And again, all sources used to put together this episode can be found on our website at #history-pod.com.
Subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform you use, share about us with your friends, and then give us a rate and review.
And then going back to Instagram, you can find us at #history_podcast.
And as we mentioned at the top of the episode, come join us over on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can help support our books and booze supply. It goes a really long ways into helping us continue the podcast. You also get access to some behind-the-scenes content, like our #hangout bonus episodes. And then we also give you a shout-out on Instagram, and we mail you cards and stickers and all the fun stuff. And finally, make sure you come back here next week, because that's when we're announcing our super exciting season finale guest.
Yes, if you don't know, we always have a guest on our season finale. So check us out next week to hear who it is, and then check us out for the finale.
Yay! Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Ooh. Goes directly to
Any
purchasing
research materials. I'm winking.
She's winking.
Research materials.
Research materials. Gin.
Alcohol.
Did we do it? Yeah. Okay. I clapped so loudly I couldn't hear if you clapped.
That means it was right on.
Good.
Yeah. See, look at, there's only one spike when usually there's two.
Multiple.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How great. How great.
We're so
How
professional.
great. Professional. Learning a little more every time. Okay. Pablo Picasso. Oh my God.
I was like, why are we struggling with this one?
What if I had put that I had to figure out how to pronounce his name?
Picasso.
And
we will share the pictures of, oh my God. We will.
Is it crying or is it gin?
It's gin.